All right, the timer has begun. 2 weeks left in the season is all you've got to pick up all these interesting items that you might want to grab. I'm about to flashbang you, so if you're in a dark room, just be ready. Turn on the light, because I use light mode, and I don't apologize. Here we go. So, yearly timeline is something that I link in every single video. I recommend bookmarking this, because it's super nice. If everybody had this bookmarked, I wouldn't need to make these videos. Although, I still think you guys enjoy my input. This shows everything that comes through in the event store. We'll be going through every single one of these, which ones you might want to grab, which ones you don't want to miss. I have also highlighted items in red. So everything in red on this spreadsheet is like a must-grab item in my personal opinion. This is the opinion of a YouTuber with a lot of videos on the channel. I've covered this game very heavily. I've got about 7,000 hours played. I think I've got a strong opinion on these are the things you should definitely grab. This season's a little quiet. Fallen Love Ranger, accessible now, easy to grab. Stoneheart Pharaoh was available for a short time. You've already missed her if you're watching this video, and I'm sorry. I didn't make that super well known, but I think almost everybody has Pharaoh. It's like the first hero everybody grabs, and I didn't get a single comment from anybody missing her. So if that's you, I'm sorry. She's worth a voucher. Don't worry about that. And then even with the LTM, there's not a lot going on. So there are some really good items in here, even ones that aren't red. Heartbreaker is a good example. So we're going to be getting into all of that. And there's also one more hero on the way, and that's Highland Warrior Wildcat. She is not currently in the shop as of this video going out. You can kind of miss her. It's not the biggest deal. I recommend grabbing one of every hero if you can afford it, but if you're short on gold, listen to some of my other suggestions first, because frag energy cost is not something that you're going to be using a lot, I don't believe. So with that out of the way, let's start with quest lines like Blockbuster. So first and foremost, one of the quests you're going to get, by the way, I have not completed these because I've been playing for years. I have everything this quest can offer me. I recommend completing this quest line. You get good stuff, good rewards in general. I've just been lazy because I can be lazy. So if you've been playing thousands of hours, you can ignore it like I am, but my suggestion is to grab one of these weapons. Now, the crossbow has identical stats to the Heartbreaker. That's a really good thing to know that you might not know immediately. So if you just want one weapon like the crossbow, you can just get the Heartbreaker. And everything from that Blockbuster quest in the military section, I'm looking at those 3 weapons, you get to choose one. They're all available here anyway. So if you change your mind, oh my god, I didn't get the Silent Spectre, you can always flux it later. Flux is a bit hard to get. 100 is basically 2 weeks of legendary flux. You can get the legendary flux from the collection book. You can get it from Ventures, the collection book, and the weekly shop. So you get 300 flux every Venture season, which is kind of enough to afford some of the stuff. And then the Falcon pistol, I believe that's the Bald Eagle, actually. Bald Eagle is a really fun weapon. It's a decent pistol, which is really strong, good damage, but it's not like a super meta pick. I think the community has long agreed that the Silent Spectre is kind of the best weapon out of these 3. Again, I think the crossbow is really, really good, but it's also the exact same stats as the Heartbreaker, which is also available for gold. So you don't really need that. And as I'm recording this, cram session is in session. So if you do safe cracking, you get a crap ton of gold. If you can't afford anything in the shop, search for safes. That's super easy. Just run with any Outlander, smack a wall 5 times, you'll get the Pathfinder ability active. Chests will glow through the wall. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So I highly recommend doing that if you want to get any gold. I think the Spectre is the way you should go there. Don't miss out on it. Now, for the rest of the Blockbuster quest, Carbide, super, super good for dungeons. His lefty and righty bounces all over the map. This is not an edited video, so I can't illustrate that, but you definitely want him come dungeon time. I'm going to flashbang you again. If you turn the light off, I'm sorry. This is a hero that is going to be useful very soon, because April 5th, when this season ends, Dungeons comes back around. And Dungeons has a lot of fantastic rewards. It'll also refund the gold you spent, so don't worry about that. The other thing I want to mention is Major Oswald. That's in a different quest. My bad. So Throwing Stars, Fallen Star. He's not the most important hero, I don't think, but he's good to get. And on a personal note, I'm actually not 100% sure which, let's see, he's probably in the Shadow Ops down here. Oh man, I don't actually know what area of the collection book he's in, but I believe he gives you an ability. I'm going to pause and go find out, because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. You're not going to believe this. The heroes from the Blockbuster quest are actually in the Blockbuster section. Ironically, Raven is not earned through Blockbuster anymore. He's more Fortnite mares, so miscategorized. But Cloak Star is, you know, Throwing Stars additional arc. It's not really that good. He also gives you Throwing Stars, which, like, round trip, just Throwing Stars go back and forth. So I'm getting the names wrong, but you can read it on screen. Cloak Star is kind of nice, but not something you need to get. And I'm not going to want to spend too much time on him because I want to continue on. Every hero at the end here, by the way, is also available through the main collection book. Like mentioned earlier, if you go to the expansion people and go to Shadow Ops, All of these heroes are available here. Which one you want to pick kind of depends on you. I don't really think there's a standout, so you can kind of go any direction you feel. I would check the collection book before grabbing them or before getting this quest, because you don't want to make the wrong decision. All right, moving on to the next quest here. Yeah, I got a lot to cover, and it's a little tough because I'm recording this on stream, Twitch link down below, and my fans are making me sweat way too much. Major Oswald, he's really, really good because he makes enemies take 25% extra damage after you Warcry. That's a really big damage buff. 25% is more than that because there are other heroes like Banshee, Special Forces Banshee, which a lot of people use because she gives you a 25.5% damage bonus. Why wouldn't you want that? The problem is she buffs your weapon damage by the base damage, which means her damage does not multiply with your damage perks. It doesn't multiply with your 20% like element perks. It doesn't multiply with any of that. So her actual damage bonus is rarely actually 25%. However, Major Oswald does make enemies actually take 25%. So that is a real 25% damage bonus, and it's really, really strong. You definitely don't want to miss him. So grab him while you can. All right. Moving on to the event shop. We're just going to go top down as I have them ordered and talk about whether or not you should buy them. I don't have any pick on which ones you should get because I don't know your playstyle and I don't know who you are, but there are going to be some standouts like Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy is super good, Dashing Hawk is super good, Anti-Cuddle Sarah is super good, Snuggle Specialist, Wukong, Heartbreaker are all really, really good. We're going to talk about them when we get there. Starting with 4-Leaf Wildcat. Every 45 eliminations you get a fragment. Frag fragment. It's not that strong. It's not that useful. Frags are kind of bad, so it's kind of unfortunate. Stare Down South, he's pretty good for Teddy. Teddy's super good for like grinding ventures casually. If you want lasers from your Teddy, you're gonna want to pick him up. Battlehound Jonesy, once again, grenades are unfortunately not that strong even after they got buffed a year or two ago, but he is a really, really good commander. So if grenades ever get a lot stronger than they are now, you are definitely going to want to run him in the lead. So you might want to pick up Battlehound if you're somebody who really enjoys grenades. Fallen Love Ranger is red. He is the best hero in the shop in my opinion because that energy generation is insane. I mentioned in a recent like llama opening video, I talked about Flash AC being one of my favorite heroes because this loadout is insane. I use Fallen Love Ranger for the energy. He does his commander perk in support, which means it's not six energy over 3 seconds. It's 6 energy per second for 3 seconds, which is enough to fund pretty much any thing you're doing. So Fallen Love Ranger is really, really good anytime you're consuming a lot of energy. Dashing Hawk is really good for stunning enemies. This applies to mini bosses, by the way. I use him in dungeons. Like I said, Carbide is awesome. So Dashing Hawk goes in support, stuns the enemies that I'm attacking with lefty and righty, just gives you more time to kill them dead. It's a really strong hero to have. I have recently sort of stopped using him because unless it's against a mini boss, most things are dead before they have a chance to be stunned. So he's not as amazing as I used to think, but still worth having if you're going to be running lefty and righty. Love Song, it's not great. I made this video in a recent history here. I know I'm flashbanging you again without warning. I made a video on the Love Song. I tested it out. So I have recent, where is my video on the Love Song? I have recent experience to say that this is not a good bow. It does really good single target damage, but lots of things do really good single target damage. If you want to skip that one, I don't blame you, but collecting all the bows is kind of fun. Anti-Cuddle is the only hero that's sometimes better than Fallen Love Ranger because she gives you 7.5 energy per melee kill. If you're using a melee loadout that uses a lot of energy, which is super normal, and you're not using Paleo Luna, which means you have Blast from the Past and Southie, if you're not using a Blast from the Past melee build, she is really, really good. That's a lot of energy per kill, and in the lead, you can get going for a while. Ear Splitter fans would love her. Steam Thrasher fans love her. Keeps the party going, and she's a great hero to have for that. Love Ranger Jonesy, super skippable. Fallen Love Ranger Jonesy is great. Love Ranger just gives you Shockwave Radius, which is nice. I can't say I've ever really needed him. Even in Shockwave builds, he was kind of an optional hero. Heartbreaker crossbow, super strong. I have a video on this. I'm going to be linking every relevant video down below, by the way, so check those out down there. Heartbreaker is super strong. It's one of the strongest bows in the entire game. I even mentioned recent videos. That is not clickbait. 2.6 million damage. I use these back and forth. Heartbreaker, 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 Heartbreaker. It is really, really strong. It took down Smashers with no problem at all. I was using a build without crit rating. I recommend crit rating. It was a totally rocking out build. So when I was critting, it was great. When it wasn't, it wasn't. So I could have played better. It was not the weapon's fault. Super good weapon. Snuggle Specialist is super fantastic for Dragon Slash. Tail of the Dragon just gives you crowd clearing. Anything that walks into it tends to die, depending on the power level of the mission. I use her with Dragon Slash builds every time. That is an intense stare. Oh my goodness. Don't like the way she's looking at me. But you should definitely pick her up from the shop if you plan on running Dragon Slash. Wukong is good for 2 reasons. Explosive rounds is every 6 eliminations, ranged weapon eliminations specifically, that is not lefty and righty, that is not a minigun, that is weapon specifically. Assault rifles, SMGs, pistols, etc. They will deal 37 base damage in a 1-tile radius. So I use this with shotguns sometimes. Every 6 kills, you just get an extra explosion. It's not a ton of damage, but it's kind of nice. And I mentioned he's good for 2 reasons, because Wukong, if I can actually find him this time, is he in the block button? No, actually, I think he's in the holiday section. We're going to find this one out together. I'm not going to pause this. We're going to, springtime, Wukong, where? Oh my, all right, you know what? I am going to pause. Oh, there we go, Lunar, there, that would make sense. He gives you, at the bottom, Soaring Mantis. Basically, it's a team perk where you jump 2 extra times. It's really, really nice. You can jump 1, 2, 3 times if you're using a ninja. It's not a high damage or any damage bonus, but it is something that's really good for mobility. So for that alone, I recommend picking up Wukong, and sometimes he's a good support perk. Dragon's Fist. I am not a fan. The weapon is a slow swinging hardware that does pretty good damage and good impact. It's not extremely impressive, but that's another one of those weapons that might be good. If I'm wrong, I've tried it. It has not impressed me, and I just am not a fan of it, unfortunately. Harvester Sarah, I mentioned earlier, the Steam Thrash build. She gives you scythe damage. She is one of the only heroes in the entire game that buffs scythes. So for that reason, you might want to pick her up, but scythes are rarely the way you want to go. Room Sweeper is insanely strong, but not limited to this event. It is available all the time. In fact, as of recording this, in the shop today, the Room Sweeper was available. Yeah, it is. Yeah, right here. So my point proven in real time that it is very often available not for gold. So this is like the last thing you buy. If you're a new player picking up all your items, get every event hero before this one, because it's really, really strong. Noble Launcher is not. Once again, this shop has inspired a lot of videos. Noble Launcher is coming out soon, actually. That video is not live as this video is getting recorded and probably posted. Maybe, I don't know when this is going out, but yeah, Noble Launcher you can skip, and Survivors you should always grab. So yeah, there's a rundown on everything available. I'm sorry if you guys missed Stoneheart Farah, but those are the things I recommend grabbing. Just to go over it nice and briefly, I'm going to use the timeline because it's all on one screen. Fall Love Rager you definitely want to grab. Dashing Hawk is pretty good. Heartbreaker you definitely don't want to miss because it's super, super good. Stargo Specialist is great for Dragon Slash. Those are the key ones, but yeah, hopefully that helped you spend your gold more efficiently. I know not everybody has all the gold to buy everything they want, so hopefully this can narrow it down. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. Enjoy the new season coming out soon. And yeah, take it easy. Thanks for watching.